North Korea fired artillery shells toward South Korean loudspeakers Thursday. The South Korean military responded with firepower several times more powerful. Iron pots made 1,400 years ago on a kitchen site, the first of their kind, have been discovered at the Baekje Historic Relics, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And a Korean dance team was crowned champions at an international hip-hop competition, inviting 3,000 contestants from 50 countries. Hello and welcome to News Today on KBS World. It's Friday, August 21st. I'm Luke Clary. North Korea followed through on threats to strike at South Korean loudspeakers on the DMZ Thursday, firing artillery shells toward the south. The South Korean military responded with a volley of firepower several times more powerful.
North Korea on Thursday fired several artillery shells towards South Korea's Yeoncheon County in Gyeonggi Province, twice at 3:53 and 4:12 p.m. A 14.5mm anti-aircraft artillery shell was believed to be fired in the first shelling, followed by a 76.2mm direct fire weapon used later. Where the shells landed were near the Army 28th Division, where loudspeakers were installed and propaganda broadcasting conducted in the wake of North Korea's landmine explosions, which seriously injured South Korean soldiers. The North Korean shells crossed over the military demarcation line and fortunately fell in the mountains. No casualties or property damage has yet been reported. Following the North's provocation, the South Korean military immediately used radar detectors to trace the trajectory of the shelling and fired back in response. An emergency evacuation order was also issued for border town residents in Yeoncheon County and Gangwon Island. The Defense Ministry also issued the highest alert for all military units across the country. A military official said the North's shelling is presumably aimed at the South's loudspeaker equipment. The shelling occurred 10 days after South Korea resumed the loudspeaker broadcasting, following the North's deadly landmine attack.
President Park Geun-hye has ordered her administration to sternly respond to North Korean provocations and to do its best to ensure civilian safety. The presidential office says it's keeping a close eye on the North's actions.
President Park Geun-hye convened an emergency meeting of the National Security Council Standing Committee at 6 p.m. Thursday, 2 hours after North Korea fired its first shots. After receiving reports on the North's artillery attack and the South Korean military's response from the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the defense minister, and the National Security Council chief, the president ordered a stern response.
북한의 도발에 대해서는 단호하게 대응하고 우리 군은 만반의 대비 태세를 유지하는 동시에 주민의 안전과 보호에도 만전을 기하라고 지시하셨습니다.
It's the first time that President Park personally presided over a meeting of the National Security Council's Standing Committee. Her actions appear to reflect the serious nature of the situation, as the North's provocation comes during an ongoing military drill conducted jointly by South Korea and the U.S., and just after landmine explosions in the demilitarized zone on August 4th.
After years of legal wrangling, the Supreme Court on Thursday finalized the guilty verdict for former Prime Minister Han Myung-suk on charges of receiving bribes through illicit political funds. The ruling also stripped her of her seat in Parliament.
The Supreme Court has upheld the lower court's ruling on former Prime Minister Han Myung-suk that sentences her to 2 years in prison and fines of over $743,000 US. The final verdict comes 5 years after she was first indicted and 2 years after the case reached the Supreme Court. The former prime minister was indicted in 2010 on suspicion of receiving $760,000 in bribes in the form of illegal political funds from the former CEO of Hanshin Konyoung Engineering and Construction, Han Man-ho. However, in the first trial, the businessman reversed his testimony he gave to prosecutors in which he admitted giving money to the former prime minister. As a result, the local court found the former Prime Minister Han not guilty of the charges. But an appellate court found her guilty, saying that various financial data, ledger records, and related figure statements matched with Han Man-ho's initial testimony that he gave the bribes. The Supreme Court upheld the appellate court's ruling. The key facts that gave grounds to the guilty verdict included the fact that the Prime Minister's sister, who does not know the businessman personally, used more than $84,000 of the money for her housing cost. Also, the former Prime Minister was found to have returned some $168,000 to Han Man-ho the day after she visited him in the hospital. The final ruling has stripped Han of her parliamentary seat. She's also banned from running in elections for the next 10 years.
Some products used in skincare salons are now believed to actually cause serious harm to the skin. In many cases, tattoo and skin peeling services are performed illegally, and victims face difficulties receiving compensation for their skin problems.
This woman in her 20s, who is to get married soon, developed a rash after receiving a skin peeling treatment at a skincare salon. But the salon only instructed her to apply an ointment without compensating her for medical treatment of her condition.
전혀 자기네들이 문제될 게 없고 자기네들은 잘했는데 내가 이상해서 잘못했다는 식으로 얘기를 하니까 억울하죠.
Current laws ban estheticians from providing tattoo or peeling services. However, 8 out of 10 skincare salons were found to be using medical equipment such as lasers. More than 3 out of 10 were also found to provide unlicensed services such as skin peeling, tattooing, and Botox. But receiving compensation for skin problems that arise as a result of illicit services is not easy. More than 100 reports of side effects caused by skincare services are received annually, but most skincare salons attempt to settle disputes by making cases lapse as the skin heals naturally. The Korea Consumer Agency advises customers of skincare salons to seek medical help immediately after developing side effects and to obtain certifying papers from their doctors in order to receive compensation.
A teenager who lit multiple fires on residential streets was caught on the black box of a nearby parked car and arrested by police. Black boxes are used extensively these days when it comes to catching criminals, extending even to those who illegally dump garbage in public areas.
In this dark alleyway, a man approaches a trash pile. Moments later, a blaze soars from the site. An intoxicated 19-year-old surnamed Park was the arsonist who set the fire out of rage after getting fired from his job at an internet cafe. Park fled the scene after setting 3 fires in the alleyway over a span of less than 10 minutes. The police arrested him after a week or so, thanks to black box footage. It's dark outside, and here a man is seen dumping garbage in front of a wall. Another person following also throws away trash in the same place. What caught these sights was the black box of a vehicle cracking down on illegal garbage dumping.
기존 CCTV에 비해 설치 비용을 상당히 절약할 수 있고 이동도 가능해서 효율적인 단속이 가능합니다.
Vehicle black boxes are being used increasingly these days to monitor all kinds of crimes and illegal activities, as well as to track down suspects and fugitives.
Iron pots made 1,400 years ago and a kitchen site have been uncovered at the Baekje Historic Relics, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The discovery has drawn the spotlight as they are the first pots of the Baekje era to have been found so far.
This relic site in Wanggungri, Iksan, North Jeolla Province used to be home to a royal palace during the late Baekje period of the 7th century. Several iron pots have been discovered here recently during excavation. The 40-centimeter tall pots look similar to modern-day steaming pots, but unlike other pots, they have knobs, presumably for fixing them in place. It's the first discovery of Baekje-era pots so far, and it's expected to provide clues to the culinary culture of the Baekje period.
초기 백제 시대에는 시루 등을 이용해서 쪄 먹었을 것으로 추정은 했지만 지금 나온 철제솥도 밥을 끓이는 용도가 아니었을까 이렇게 생각이 됩니다.
Experts believe that the pots were discovered on the site of the royal palace kitchen. A pottery kiln and drainage equipment that were also found during the excavation are expected to help archaeologists find out more about life in the Baekje royal palace.
A Korean dance team was crowned champions at an international hip-hop competition, inviting 3,000 contestants from 50 countries to participate. The Korean dancers defeated such formidable competitors as the defending champions from the Philippines.
This is the beginning of Lock and Roll's dance performance. The group of dancers move intricately as if they're pieces of a colorful puzzle. The Korean team's choreography was inspired by the Rubik's Cube.
댄서들이 큐브의 구성원이 돼서 조각이 돼서 이제 스트릿 댄스라는 걸 보여주면서 일사불란하게 움직여서
Some 3,000 contestants from 50 countries took part in this year's World Hip Hop Dance Championship, dubbed the Hip Hop Olympics. First-time entrant South Korea was applauded for its ingenuity and high-caliber dance moves and recognized as the best crew.
Represent Korea Rocking!
힙합이라는 댄스 안에서 가장 기초가 되는 춤들이고 그 안에 가장 어떤 밑바탕에 깔려 있는 것들인데 우리가 그거를 제대로 좀 보여준 것 같다.
Only 0.19 points separated Lock and Roll and the second-place finisher from New Zealand. It was a miraculous victory over the defending champions and other favorites.
세미파이널에 2위라는 성적으로 올라갔을 때 너무 놀랬었고 네, 그렇지만 파이널에서도 우승하리라는 장담은 못했었어요.
Now, Lock and Roll aims to defend its title in next year's championship.
A movie about the life of the Korean Empire's last princess, Deok-hye, is set to go into production. The biographical film will star Park Geun-hye and Son Ye-jin. This and more coming up in today's Showbiz section.
Director Ho Jin-ho is credited with several romantic cinematic masterpieces. His next film is to be about the life of Princess Deok-hye, daughter of King Gojong. Son Ye-jin will play the ill-fated Princess Deok-hye, and Park Hae-il, a noble and loving freedom fighter who devotes his entire life to the princess. Actor Kim Woo-bin and singer-actress Suzy will play the lead characters in a new TV series slated for next year. The two stars return to TV screens after a 3-year gap with a miniseries titled Uncontrollably Fond. The drama is to be written by Lee Kyung-hee, acclaimed for several mega hits including I'm Sorry, I Love You. In the show, Kim will play a hot Hallyu star and Suzy a groveling materialistic documentary producer who start a vexing but wistful romantic relationship. Documentary film Factory Complex, directed by Im Hung-soon, has been invited to the Montreal World Film Festival, the largest film festival in North America. Factory Complex, the first Korean film to win the prestigious Silver Lion Award at the Venice Biennale, continues to generate buzz with its invitation to the Montreal World Film Festival, following its entry in the Shanghai International Film Festival as well.
Bingsoo, or shaved ice with various toppings, is an all-time favorite in the hot summer. However, people often feel guilty over eating a bowl of Bingsoo because of the high calorie count. Today, we'll introduce tips on how to make delicious and low-calorie Bingsoo. Bingsoo is the most popular Korean dessert in the summer. However, the calorie count is equivalent to that of a meal.
차가운 얼음 조각들 때문에 당도가 아주 높음에도 불구하고 단맛을 직접 느낄 수가 없어서 더 달게 먹게 되는 거죠.
But here is a Bingsoo store that relieves customers' worries about calories. The store is packed with customers breaking the prejudice that healthy ice flakes are not tasty. Here's the secret to its popularity. The store offers Bingsoo made with ice of homemade fruit concentrates.
제대로 된 그 발효액은 단맛은 나지만 단순당이 산으로 변화했기 때문에 열량이 낮고 혈당을 급격하게 상승시키지 않습니다.
You can make Bingsoo at home with fruit concentrates. Put together water and yuzu concentrate by the rate of 3:1, then mix it in a blender. This process makes the taste softer. Get the yuzu ice from ice trays and shave it to make Bingsoo. Then top the ice flakes with dried fruit. Now, a bowl of sweet yuzu Bingsoo is ready. Traditional Bingsoo with boiled red beans is the most popular, but its high calorie count makes people hesitant. Snowflake Bingsoo made with frozen milk is a good low-calorie alternative to the traditional version. Place red beans boiled with honey and nuts on fine flakes of frozen milk. Spread some red bean syrup instead of condensed milk. This low-calorie version retains the original sweet taste of Bingsoo. Watermelons and sweet pumpkins are also good ingredients to make Bingsoo. First, blend watermelon and add milk to sweet pumpkin to make it taste lighter. Grind the frozen watermelon and pumpkin juice and decorate the mountain of ice flakes with pieces of watermelon. As watermelons and sweet pumpkins are sweet, you don't need to add any more sugar or syrup. These healthy versions of Bingsoo are a perfect summertime treat that will refresh you in the sweltering heat. And now we'll take a look at the markets, followed by the world weather. And that's it for this edition of News Today. Thanks for being with us, and we'll see you again on Monday. Have a great weekend. Goodbye.